Shalom family and welcome once again to another video. Chazak Eliyahu here as we continue in our series. We will be looking today at Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6. But we are going to show the idolatry of worshiping the Messiah as the Most High. Before we go, you need to see this. The idolatry of worshiping the Messiah as the Most High. Yeah. All right. So we have to understand it was written in the book of Gad the seer. I think it's 1 Chronicles 29:29, I think, mentioned. Is it not written in the book of Gad the seer? Well, we have the book of Gad the seer. You can download it from our website, from our downloads page. And in the book of Gad the seer, it warned us against this YAHUAH is Yahusha thing. And here's how it does it. In, let me go there. Chapter 15, it's on page 11. Edom were the ones who gave us Christianity. It's important you understand two things, who the children of Israel are and who the children of Edom are. When you understand that, the Bible becomes easy. The reason most of you are finding it hard to understand what I am saying or what we are teaching here, it is because you do not understand that. If you understand it, it will become easier for you to understand. So Edom gave us the replacement theology. They gave us, it doesn't matter who you are, we are spiritual Israelites, we have now replaced Israel. That's replacement theology. It's in the book of Gad the seer that was written from in the time of David right until now. Verse 15 says, "Woe to you, Edom, that sits in the land of Kittim in the north of the sea, that sits in where? Rome." Kittim is Rome, in the north of the sea, the north of the Mediterranean Sea. "For your destroyers will emerge from a terrible nation. They will not even leave you a remnant." This is Obadiah 1, when it tells you about the destruction of Edom, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau. "For you have said, I sit on high, and only I have a covenant with the Elohim of Elohim, with the YAHUAH of Elohim." So these are the Edomites who have set up in Rome their religion, Christianity, and say that they have covenant now with the Most High, and they have replaced his people. "For you have said, I sit on high, and only I have a covenant with the YAHUAH of Elohim. For YAHUAH chose me instead of his set-apart people, for he abhorred them." That's what they say in Christianity. "And his former people," that is us, "despised and rejected, did not truly know YAHUAH the Father, because they do not know his image, the Son. We are truly wise and intelligent. We know YAHUAH and his law. We know his image and presence." And this is how they act, as if they know YAHUAH, they know his Son, they know his Ruach HaKadosh, Holy Spirit. But what does YAHUAH say? "But thus says YAHUAH, because you rose up in pride to brag about the YAHUAH of Elohim, know that you will perish in your conceitedness. For why would you put confidence in man, Jesus Christ, Yahusha, whose life is like a vapor, which begins in the morning and is gone by noonday, placing him to sit beside YAHUAH?" Now, once Yahusha was different from JC, now they have made him synonymous with JC by also putting him to sit beside YAHUAH. Yes? By saying what? Yahusha is YAHUAH. This is it right here. Why would you put confidence in man, whose life is like a vapor, which begins in the morning and is gone by noonday, placing him to sit beside YAHUAH? For it is not you whom I knew formerly, and where is the bill of divorce of my people that you said would be a prey? Show it to me. So the Most High is declaring that he will never, ever, ever ignore his people. His people will always be his people. So what did Edom do? They gave us the abominable religion of Christianity, which is full of pagan customs, full of abominations that are totally against the word of the Most High. For example, this one, a woman teaching, woman being a pastor, preaching in front of a congregation, totally against the word of the Most High. The abominable cross, totally against the Most High, the abominable cross, again, worshipping the cross. Abomination once again given to us by the children of Edom. Idolatry, putting a man to sit beside YAHUAH. This is what they have done with this Jesus Christ. This is a woman worshiping Jesus Christ right here. This is what you're doing when you're saying YAHUAH is Yahusha. Wake up and stop the foolishness. This is their son worship along with their abominable cross on top. This is what Christianity is about. It's this mother-child worship that has transcended so many different religions. Almost all the religions in the world are based on this and based on a trinity, a mother with a child. All right? And this is the abomination, kissing the idol, kissing the feet of this abomination. This is where you're headed. You are no different from this. If you say Yahusha is YAHUAH, why? You can set up your idol in your heart. You do not have to be kissing that idol as that woman is doing to be an idolater. Ezekiel 14 verse 3 tells us, Son of man, these men have set up their idols in their heart and put the stumbling block of their iniquity before their face. Should I be inquired of at all by them? So the Most High is saying, I won't listen to these people who have set up their idols in their hearts. When you say Yahusha is YAHUAH, you have set up that idol in your heart, putting a man to sit in the temple of the Most High, where the Most High alone should sit. So as long as we have idols in our hearts, we are idolaters. So let's go Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 in the KJV. It says, For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty YAHUAH, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Now this we are going to show, and we're going to show definitively, this is a false translation coming from the lying pen of the scribe. So, verse 7, Of the increase of his government and peace shall be no end, upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom to order it, and to establish it with judgment and with justice from thenceforth forever. The zeal of YAHUAH Sabaoth will perform this. So if he is YAHUAH, how will YAHUAH perform it? With himself? Impossible. So we're going to show how they mistranslated Isaiah 9:6 to get us to worship the Son as the Father. And we were warned about things like this in the book of Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 8. This is the English Standard Version of this verse. How do you say, we are wise, and the law of YAHUAH is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribes is in vain. In other words, the lying pen of the scribes has changed everything and made us believe a lie. Okay? So, where was I supposed to go? Let me go to and see where I'm supposed to go. All right. Yeah. So we're going to look at, this is an article that we did some time ago on our website. It's to show Isaiah 9 verse 6. We just read it a while ago. But what we did, we took the Hebrew translation and we saw a few things. Notice in the English language, the noun is given before the verb. But when a noun and a verb is in Hebrew, you'll have to listen very carefully. The verb comes first and the noun second. All right? So, for to us a child is born. This is already out. The translators, this is already out. Because it should have said, for it's born to us a child. Anyway, to us a son is given. To us a son is given to. and shall be the government. This is what I tell you, the verb comes first. And shall be the government on his shoulder, and the verb, and call his name Wonderful Counselor, the Elohim, Mighty, the Everlasting, the Prince of Peace. They did two things here. They put the noun before the verb, and they also inserted, let me go back to show you what they inserted. They inserted his name shall be called. Shall be was inserted. If we go back now to where we were, we realize that there is his name and called his name. It's no shall be here. The shall be was way up before. And called his name. All right? So, as we were speaking about the noun being before the verb. So notice, and called comes before the name YAHUAH. So here's the difference between Hebrew and English when they are written, the placement of the noun and the verb. So in English, we would get, and YAHUAH called his name. And YAHUAH noun called verb his name. But in Hebrew, it is and called verb his name YAHUAH. So look at this now. In English, it should be and YAHUAH called his name. This is what they did not do. They did not switch this around and say YAHUAH called his name, but they kept the same Hebrew context and saying, and call his name YAHUAH. That's what they did. So they're always switching it around. So let us look at a similar verse to explain what I'm talking about. It might be difficult for you to understand at the beginning. So look at this with Adam. We know this verse, Genesis 3:9, and Yahuwah, YAHUAH, the noun, called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? That is English. That is how it should be in English. But in Hebrew, it should be the other way around. And called unto Adam, Yahuwah, YAHUAH. And here it is, rightly rendered. And called Yahuwah, YAHUAH unto the man, and said to him, where are you? So we have the verb first, and then the noun after. In translating Isaiah 9 verse 6, they did not switch it back around to get the noun first in English and the verb in Hebrew. They kept the same context and made the verb first and the noun last. So you would get, and YAHUAH called his name, and called his name YAHUAH. That is error. So this is an inconsistent translation. Let's take another look again at another witness to show the same context, that in Hebrew, it should be the verb first and then the noun after. And when you're translating it in English, you switch it around, put the noun first and the verb after. Let's go. Here we go. It is, what is this? Deuteronomy 19:5, I think. No, it's in Exodus. And called YAHUAH the firmament heaven. There it is. And called YAHUAH the firmament heaven. And were, which is the verb, the evening, and the morning, day, the second. This is another thing that mixes us up when we're thinking about and were evening and were morning. Many people don't understand when you're supposed to switch it around, and it would be the morning and the evening came this, and it was the second day, something like that. But it was, this is how it originally was. And called YAHUAH the firmament. All right? Don't want to confuse you, but this is what we have to understand. So if it was rightly rendered, let me give you a proper translation of how it should be if they had rendered it consistently. The wrong rendering is at the top. That's the one in the KJV and in many other translations. We're going to show a translation that shows it differently as well. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Counselor, the mighty YAHUAH, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. This is the wrong translation that they gave us. Here is the right one. For a child has been born to us, a son given to us, and the authority is upon his shoulder. And the wonderful Counselor, the mighty Elohim, the everlasting Father, those are the nouns, called his name the Prince of Peace. This is how it should be rendered in English. Okay? This is how it should be rendered in English. The nouns first, then the verb afterwards. Called afterwards. So this is how they got us to believe Yahusha is YAHUAH and he's the mighty, almighty God and whatever. Yahusha is known as the Prince of Peace by the Father. Okay? This is the right rendering. For a child has been born to us, a son given to us, and the authority is upon his shoulder, and the wonderful Counselor, the mighty Elohim, the everlasting Father, called his name the Prince of Peace. Right rendering. Let's look at the Brenton translation. Brenton translation of Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. I always like to use the Brenton whenever I figure that there's some hanky-panky going on with the scribes. I always go to the Brenton because the Brenton uses a different manuscript that gives you always a different context, a different understanding. Look at the Brenton. For a child is born to us, and a son is given to us, whose government is upon his shoulder, and his name is called the Messenger of Great Counsel, for I will bring peace upon the princes and health to him. You see, that has nothing to do with him being the Most High. Eh? Nothing. His government shall be great, and of his peace there is no end. It shall be upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to establish it and to support it with judgment and with righteousness, from henceforth and forever. The seal of Yahuwah Sabaoth will perform this. You see the difference? Hey, that is why I always like to keep the Brenton in the back of my arsenal, because it shows the truth. People, all they are trying to do is to get us to this. This is their whole aim, to get us into idolatry, to get us into abominations, to get us into false worship. This is their aim. And if we allow them to, then we are going to be caught up in a lake called the lake of fire. People, stop this foolishness about Yahusha is Yahuwah. Go seek for yourselves. All those people are commenting and asking me, what about this? What about that? Every single one of those verses, we have researched them because we dig for truth. All right? We don't just take a verse and run with it and say, oh, Isaiah 9:6, it says this, and so it says this. No. We go and we dig for everything because the Bible has already furnished us and told us how to deal with it. They told us that the lying pen of the scribe will make it vain. So what do we have to do? Go and understand how the scribes should actually be writing it and what did they do. In Isaiah 9 verse 6, they did not switch back around and make the noun first in English and the verb last. They kept the verb first and the noun last, and so it reads exactly differently. a very clever piece of deception by the scribes. We here at Just the Word, we dig, we search, because we believe that the Most High is giving us the truth if we search for it with all our heart. He said it, Jeremiah 29:13. And ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart. Most of you out there, you just go and you get a little piece. Here's what most people do. Go around the internet, go and grab a little information here, grab a little here, a little there. And then you think that you have reached, you understand. You know how many people you have done this? People who have learned from us and we have taught, and go and grab something else and come back around now trying to teach the person who taught them. Yes? That is a renegade kind of a outlaw type of, you just go around and rob here and rob there and then come back nice and rich. No. You have to seek diligently with all our heart and understand. The book of God this year told us the danger of what Edom would do. They are deceiving us, people. It's all about who we are as a people. And we, the children of Yahusha, we don't worship like the nations. Christianity, Yahusha is Yahuwah, is like the nations. Yahuwah said in Devarim 6 verse 4, Hear, O Yahusha, Yahuwah or Aluah is one Yahuwah. One. Yes? And he said he doesn't share, he is one and he doesn't share with his splendor with another. Yeah? Yahuwah is one and he has a son who is the Messiah, who will be king ruling on Yahuwah's earth when Yahuwah makes him return. Very simple. Yahuwah is one. Please don't put the Messiah and say Yahuwah is Yahusha. That's abominable. Abominable. All right? So that was Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6. And yeah, we should be back, Yahuwah willing, with other misunderstandings that people take and hold on to and feel, hey, this is it. No, you got to go search. We got to dig. We got to dig. All right, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on our videos so that we can continue to grow. All right, a lot of people need to hear these words. Please help us. All right, and shalom.